What's up, crows? Scarecrow here with Abstract Gaming, bringing you a new tutorial video to show you how I make thumbnails like this. And guys, let's hop right into the video. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to make a new image. So I go and I hit new, and I have the thumbnail preset. All it is 1920 by 1080 pixels. I did have this set to inches one time, and it just completely shut my computer down. And you start out with just the blank white image. I like to make a new layer and completely do away with that. Just have a blank, transparent image. Okay, so the first thing I do is I go to Google and I think about what kind of video I want to make. I made a Roblox video. I know it's talking about Fist, the toughest kid in school. So what I do is I thought, okay, let's get a picture of a tough guy. So who's a tough guy? I know Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove. And if you add PNG at the end of it, it ensures that you get a transparent background. And then all you have to do is click and then hit save as. But I'll drag him in here. It's the same image we was just looking at. And you see it starts out rather small. And what we do here is we hit Shift and Alt and drag it. And the reason you want to hold Shift and Alt is it keeps its aspect ratio. If I wasn't holding Shift and Alt, see, it gets all screwed, and see, that doesn't look as good. That don't look good. So let's undo that. Hold Shift and Alt and make it fairly large. He's going to be our focus point. We'll put him in the corner. I like to stick it out somewhat of the background, and that already looks pretty good. But I like to customize it to the game I play. So then I go and I type in Roblox PNG. And you can always find, logos, but you can also occasionally find things like this to where you can put a nice little face on it, but you can also cut others off, or you can go into your game and cut it out yourself. I've already saved a face, which is that one we just seen, and adjust it to size. And you see there's a white background. It wouldn't look good if it was there. I use the magic wand tool. Select the white. You have to make sure to rasterize the video or the image, and then hit delete. And that deletes most of the white background. I then like to go, and because if you put him over top of the image, you can see there's some imperfections around him. I like to go and click on the polygonal lasso tool. And you'll probably start out with a lasso tool like this, which is fine, but if you hold left click on it, it shows you more options, and we go to polygonal lasso. And we'll do just a quick trace of the head, staying as close to the head as we can without actually touching it. Just trace the whole entire thing. And a lot of people recommend using the pen tool, which I do too, but since it's a basic image, the polygonal lasso tool works perfectly fine. But if I was cutting out like my face from my background in my room, I would definitely use the pen tool. And we are finishing up the trace now. Select the inverse, and that selects everything except the head, and hit delete. So now if we drag this over top, you can see there's none of that white outline like there was. So then we put it in place. I made it kind of large this time, but it actually looks fairly decent. And also the colors somewhat go together, so I won't have to do any tracing and recoloring. So let's try to line it up as best as you can. Okay, then I go straight to the background. So what I do is I'll add a bottom layer, and then I'll choose a color, and I thought pink looked fairly nice, so I decided to go with pink. You want to go with bright colors. I mean, if I have this down here, it's not going to stand out. But if I go with the bright pink, it definitely will pop off the YouTube page. And then I go with the bucket tool. You'll start out with the gradient tool. Just left click on the gradient tool. Go to paint bucket tool. And also you see at the top it says opacity 100. We want to change that to 33. And what that does is when I fill, you can still see the transparent background. That's fine. When we go and we find our image, which I like to go with something relevant to the video, which in this one was Roblox High School. And you see there's a lot of images here. Be careful because a lot of these are people's thumbnails. I found this one here, which is just an actual image of the high school. I saved it, drop it into Photoshop. Once again, hold Shift and Alt, drag it to size where it fills up the whole background. And then you want to make sure it still looks nice and clean, which it does. The good thing about Roblox, you can stretch it to fit, and usually it doesn't change it too bad. Then we change the blending options, or the layer options, to overlay. You can see now it's got that nice pink look. This was the before, this was the after. So we have that nice bright color with also something relevant to the game. Then I go with the font. Once again, I'll type in Roblox PNG. You can also type in Roblox logo PNG and click on the logo I want, save it, find it on my desktop, drag it into Photoshop once again, and then adjust to size. That looks fine. Slightly larger than I usually go with, but it's alright. Then I add a new text layer, and then I type in somewhat of the title of the video, toughest kid in school. You want to use a font that's fairly large because it's easier to read. And make sure that is above the image. You want it to be above the image and not vice versa. If you're making something large, then you'd want it to be behind the image, but this is fairly small and I want it to be red. So then I right click my Roblox logo, go to blending options, stroke. See, the black actually makes it pop out quite nicely, but I like to change it to white, which does the same, and then make it fairly large to where the letters are touching. See, that looks fairly nice. Let's go with about 25. Yeah, that's good. Let's copy the layer style and paste it on our text layer. Then we hit paste layer style. See, that's a little bit too large for that. So let's go back to stroke and just slowly start to take it down. That was fairly good, 13. And once again, like I said, you can see over this image. Then we want to add, let's rasterize our crunch layer and then combine these two to where they are one image now. And let's give them the same blending option. Stroke, white, make it big. You see, that's above the Roblox. Drag it absolutely just above the background to where everything else is in front of it. That looks nice already, but I also like to go to the main bottom, choose the black color and the paintbrush, and give the image its own shadow. You can see it's somewhat thick right now, but all you have to do is go to opacity and drag it down and just make it a nice little shadow. And then I'll do the same thing, new layer, and then trace the text, and also change the opacity once again. That looks fairly nice. Also, you want to go above everything, add a new layer, hold Alt Control Shift E, and that duplicates absolutely everything into one layer. Then go to Filter, Other, High Pass. See, it's kind of funky right now. Change it to 5 radius. Okay. Once again, change the layer options to overlay. See, now it's starting to look normal again. and change the opacity to 50. You can't see a big difference in this one because of the cartoon look and the Roblox, but if it was a picture of me, you would see a huge difference. It kind of gives it a better outline and everything doesn't look blurry. Then once again, make a new layer, change our black color to white, click on the bucket again, change the opacity to 100, use the fill in bucket, and see it's completely white. Now you're going to right click on that layer for the blending options, and so you're in the blending options, change the fill opacity to 0. Then go to inner glow, change the color to white, mine's usually yellow, and change the opacity down to 50. That gives it a nice little border. A lot of YouTubers like to add that border. But guys, that's how I started making all my thumbnails. It looks really nice, I think. You want to put about thumbnail size. Make sure you can read everything. Roblox, the toughest kid in school. It's not overly texted. It's not too trafficking, or there's not too much added into it, and it looks nice and clean. But guys, if you're new to this channel, please hit that like and subscribe. Turn on the bell so you're one of the first ones to know exactly when you upload. Share this with your friends if they're needing help with their thumbnails, because I know I'm always needing help with my thumbnails. I'm really enjoying these designs. But guys, like always, God bless, and don't forget to wipe.